everybody, welcome back to kenahspam. If you watched my last video, like the loyal kenahspam subscriber I believe you to be, you would know that I was packing to go on a trip all around Europe. Well, I went and now I'm back, so now it's time to do a little story time. Okay, so I started my trip off with a 10-hour flight to London. I was very nervous for the flight because I've never been on a flight longer than 6 hours. It was my first time flying over the ocean, which always made me really nervous for some reason. I got to the airport, check-in was fine, easy. Actually, when I got to the airport on the escalator going up, an old woman fell backwards and she rode the entire escalator up like this. Her feet were here and then her head was down here and she was just going up. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I'm sure she was terrified. When I got on the plane, I was all the way in the back and the last like 20 rows were basically completely empty. The flight attendants were coming around. They're like, you guys can move. Like, you can have rows to yourself. I went to a completely different row and I put up all that armrests and I just laid on it like a bed. I was really impressed with the food. It was like this lemon chicken and a salad and bread, and then for breakfast we had like pancakes and fruit, and honestly, especially the chicken was great. Once I landed in London, first of all, the getting out of London Heathrow, I literally felt like I entered the country illegally because I just scanned my passport at this kiosk thing and then I just walked out. I was like, am I gonna get arrested? So I got to my hotel honestly around 1:30, whatever, and then I got to my room, I put everything down, and I was so hungry. So I walked to this one little restaurant. As I was sitting down, I started to feel really dizzy and kind of nauseous. I went back to the hotel, and by that point it was like 4 and I had no idea what to do. Hi everyone. I just walked like 20 minutes. Sorry, I'm so tired. Everyone, walking here doesn't make sense. I thought this was a normal thing, like when you're sharing a sidewalk, it naturally kind of like people going this way or this side of the sidewalk and people going this way or that side of the sidewalk. Like, you know, that doesn't happen here. Everyone is just all directions on the sidewalk going everywhere, and everyone's late. Everyone's trying to get somewhere. They're late. They're getting trampled over you. So yeah, anyways, I think I'm gonna go to bed because I low-key feel like poopy and I have to wake up really early tomorrow. So I ordered a pizza, which was really good, by the way, actually, and I went straight to bed at like 7 p.m. The next day was the beginning of my tour. We drove from London to Dover. We had to take a ferry to France, and then from France we drove to Amsterdam. But yeah, it was really nice. I started talking to some of the other people on my trip. Everyone was super sweet, but it was just so awkward because we're all just like, who the hell are you? Like, I don't know who you are and what are we doing here, you know? I just could not stop thinking about World War II. That night, once we got to Amsterdam, we went out to like a welcome dinner, which was really good. After dinner, we went on a canal cruise throughout the Amsterdam canals, and it was just so cute. I couldn't stop thinking about The Fault in Our Stars. They don't believe in privacy in Amsterdam because we were on the canal and all the nice apartment and houses that are there, like I could see directly in them. No one had the curtains drawn. It was so cute. And we saw this one couple and they were slow dancing in their living room. It was so cute. And yeah, and then the next day we woke up and we got a couple hours of free time to walk around the city. And we would stumble into things. We saw the Anne Frank house. We went into the Amsterdam Tulip Museum. We found like a little art gallery that we popped into. So I got this one waffle and Nutella thing that was so good. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that first waffle. I just sat by the canal and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm here. A lot of the time I was just like, I can't believe I'm actually here, you know? And then from Amsterdam, we drove to this super small town in Germany called St. Goar. So cute. It was like at the bottom of this mountain and it was on this huge river. And the town was so small. The hotel that we stayed at, literally we checked in. No, there wasn't even a check-in. It was just our names were on this list in the hallway with the key. Like, they must have no crime. That town felt like a fairy tale. It was so adorable. And in the hills or the mountains nearby, there are a bunch of castles. Oh my gosh, and I was really mad that I didn't think I'm German, and I was mad that I didn't think to look into my German ancestry because I'm like, what if I have family here, you know? And then The next day, we drove over to Munich. Now, this is a good story. When we were on the way to Munich, we got stopped by customs. Guys, it was crazy. So we get stopped. Our tour guide was like, this is really normal. This happens all the time. They just want to make sure that we have our passports. So just sit there, like, have your passports ready. So we all pull out our passport. A German officer comes on board. He goes down the entire tour bus and looks at everyone's passports. Great, fine, you know, everyone has it. Then he's like, bring the dog on. So then they bring a whole dog on the bus. Literally gets to the second row, sniffs a guy, and they're like, okay, you have to come off. Take all your stuff with you. So then the guy gets pulled off, dog keeps going on, passes me, fine, because if you know me, I'm the driest person ever, so I'm not worried. And then gets towards the end and sniffs a girl, and they do the same thing to the girl. They're like, okay, you have to get off, you know. So then we're all just sitting there, and we can see the two people that got pulled off, like, off to the side, and the officers are just rummaging through their luggage like crazy. And then after a while, they both go into the German police van that they have right there. All of a sudden, another officer comes on board holding up luggage, and he goes, whose is this? And I look up, and it's my luggage. Oh! So I get up, and I'm like, oh, see you guys. Sarcastic, you know, because obviously I don't have anything. I get off the bus and they're like, do you have any drugs? Have you done any drugs? Even in Amsterdam, did you do anything? And I was like, no. They just wanted to hear me say that I was a loser, you know? And I go to a different van, so no one from the bus can see me. And they just take my luggage and they just go through everything. I'm not even kidding. I had that entire suitcase packed so tightly. Everything was army rolled, you know? It was meticulous. And they were going through everything. Literally, even the socks. You know how the socks get rolled up? No, they took everything out. It was like a mess. They were touching my underwear, like, you know? I'm like, I was just standing there, like, honestly, it felt kind of good to stand up. I can't lie. By that point, we were we were on the bus for like 3 hours without a break, so I was kind of happy to be outside. But yeah, then they they did find a Dayquil, and they were like, what is this? And I was just like looking at the officers, and I'm like, you guys could be my cousins. Like, isn't that crazy? Anyways, obviously they don't find anything, and then they're like, do you want us to repack it, or do you want to repack it? And I was like, I'll just repack it. So then I was throwing everything in there, and then I get back on the bus, and I thought everyone was gonna be like, yay, you know. I got on the bus and I was like, oh, I survived. Silent. Everyone was looking at me like. So I just go back to my seat. I start talking to my parents like, oh my god, I just got pulled off by the German police. And then someone behind me goes, so did you have to get naked? And I was like, huh? Naked? I literally was like, what do you mean naked? Apparently, when the other two got pulled into the van, they had to be strip searched, like full, like everything, like coughing. I'm like, oh my gosh. Thank goodness I didn't know that before I got pulled off, because I actually would have been pooping my pants. Like, the two people that got pulled off, they were honestly great sports about it, because if that was me, I would be crying. I would be traumatized. Like, I would cut the trip short and I would go home. And also the funny thing too is that everyone was telling me that when I was getting pulled off and I was like, oh, see you guys, they thought I was being serious. They thought that I was like, oh, like, they got me. So once we were finally free, we stopped in this really cute town called Dinkels. It was so cute. It was also like a fairy tale. It looked fake. It felt like a Christmas town, you know? It was so cute. And we just stopped and got lunch and walked around. From there, we went to Munich and we had a walking tour in Munich. It's so interesting how they have a lot of the buildings still have damage from World War II, because they want to remember it, which is crazy. And then that night in Munich, we went out to a beer hall, which, oh my gosh, that was crazy. It was so fun. They had a cute little live band, and all these old people were like dancing with each other. And a lot of people were drinking, so a couple people got a little too drunk, and the security guards did not appreciate that. The next morning, we found out that we were gonna go visit a concentration camp. It was something that when we were in Germany, I was thinking a lot about. I didn't know that we were gonna go, so I was kind of like, oh, I'm sad that I'm not getting the opportunity to go this time around in Germany. I guess I should say I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to go. When I was there, I just kept thinking about how crazy it is that people believe that this didn't happen. When you're reading the information at the camps of what happened there, nobody, who would think to make that up? It was just so awful. It was, yeah, it was crazy. From Munich, we then went to Innsbruck, Austria, which I was very excited for. I've always really wanted to visit Austria. I love the sound of music. It was breathtaking. The Alps there are ginormous. It is like, you cannot believe what you're seeing, honestly. It's so picturesque. And we went up, took a little ski lift thing to the top of one of the mountains there. And it was just, that was probably one of my favorite things I did because it was just so beautiful. It was so peaceful. Every single city that I've been to so far, I'm like, should I move here? Look at this, like the water. I could fill my water bottle. It's already full, so I'm not. But like, I could fill that and it's safe to drink. Unheard of. What the hell? Like, should I move here? It's so peaceful. And then that night we went to, I don't remember what the show is called, but they were yodeling and they were doing traditional dancing. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. I really, really, really want to go back to Austria. I want to do a whole Austria trip because I loved it so much and I just visited one city. The next day we drove over to Venice, Italy. So we entered Italy. Yay! I don't know, I'm kind of stupid. I didn't realize that you can't just drive onto Venice. Like, you have to take a boat. But yeah, it's like a full island. And I just kept thinking, like, how do they have the Venice Film Festival here? Everything's so small. Me and my friends that I made, we were just walking around, but it started pouring. So then I didn't bring an umbrella or a rain jacket because I live in LA. I don't really need one. So I got drenched. It was kind of fun at first because I haven't seen rain in a while. But then once the sun went down and I was soaking wet and I was freezing cold, I was like, okay, this isn't very fun anymore. But we stopped and we got food at this one restaurant. It was so cute. They had a guy come in and play the saxophone. He was making people, he made all of us get up and do the hokey pokey. But he was having a bunch of people stand up and slow dance and everything, and the food was amazing. Oh, we also went on little gondolas. How could I forget? We went on a gondola ride. Obviously you have to do that. I honestly think I'm part-time because it was so much food, so many courses, like they just kept coming, and everyone after the second one they're like, oh, I'm so full, and I was like, keep it coming, like I'm so hungry. And everything that I ate I loved. There were some people who were like, that wasn't that good, and I'm like, give me yours then if you don't like it. Like, I'll eat it. We went to Rome, and that first night we kind of walked around. We saw, you know, some of the classics like the Pantheon and stuff, I think it was. And we also saw the Trevi Fountain, but it was empty. There was no water in it because they're cleaning it for the Jubilee next year or whatever. But I still threw my coin. We had a tour of the Colosseum, which was literally nutso, and it was the Forum and the Colosseum, and I just cannot believe how old everything is. The guy was saying that the street that we were walking on is the same street that like Jesus walked on. I'm like, that is actually crazy that it's that old and I'm walking on it, you know? And the Colosseum, yeah, I just kept thinking about Paul Mescal. They did some crazy stuff in there. During lunchtime, like if you went to the Colosseum to see a show, your lunchtime entertainment was like a prisoner being executed. Like, what the hell? I wouldn't survive back then. After the Colosseum, we went on a food walking tour with these two very lovely Italian ladies. They were so nice. I ate a lot of carbonara in Italy. Oh my god. I miss it so much. Gelato. Oh, gelato is forever ruined unless I'm in Italy. Because, oh, wow, it was amazing. Once we finished our time in Rome, we went to Florence, which honestly I wasn't expecting a lot. I didn't really know anything about it. We had another walking tour. The architecture in Florence was absolutely jaw-dropping. It was so beautiful. Like, the churches there were, you almost think like, how did we make this? Like, how did humans make this, you know? Oh my gosh, that night we went to this really cute restaurant. The restaurant brought in an opera singer who was literally so amazing, and he was also having people stand up and slow dance, and We all got up and danced at one point, and it was just so fun, like being there with everybody, and it was just a good vibe. And then afterwards we all went out to karaoke, which was also so fun. Just, it was one of my favorite nights, truly. And then the next day we drove to Switzerland. Honestly, we didn't spend a lot of time in Switzerland. We stopped in Lucerne for the night, and we saw this really, honestly, it was a lion monument. I don't know why it was there, but it was really pretty. It reminded me of Narnia. And then we also saw this super huge long wooden bridge thing over the water. That was really pretty. Me and my friend group ended up going to eat at this restaurant called California, and it was all like American themed, and they had a bunch of framed photos of JFK on the wall. But it was expensive. Thank goodness we didn't spend a lot of time in Switzerland. I'm sure it's a great country, but wow. And then from Switzerland we went to our last country, which was France. We were going to Paris, so we spent 2 nights in Paris. That first night we went to the top of this one building where we got these amazing views of the entire city, and then a bunch of us went to the Eiffel Tower and we're below it just hanging out. And why are you sparkly? Ooh. The Eiffel Tower was the first monument where when I was looking up at it, I was just like, I can't believe that I'm actually here. Like, and then the next day a bunch of us went to the Louvre, which was beautiful. It's ginormous. First of all, you couldn't even spend a full day there and get to see everything, but I didn't enjoy it as much just because it was so crowded. You can't just look around and have a relaxing time. You have to constantly be watching where you're going, and people are running into you. It was just like, it was a mess, honestly. So I was kind of disappointed. I only ended up spending, I think, like 2 hours in there. I saw the Mona Lisa, and I saw a lot of very beautiful paintings and sculptures and everything, but yeah, it was busy. It was crazy. And then afterwards I got lunch with some friends and we went souvenir shopping. It was I really liked Paris. I was scared that they were gonna be really mean, because that's what I've heard. French people are mean, but everyone there was so nice. It was so clean. Granted, I went 2 months after the Olympics, so that's probably why it was very clean. And then we all went out to the Moulin Rouge. Oh, I was so excited. One, I love that movie, the Baz Luhrmann movie. It was just, because it's so historical, and like they've been doing it for so long, and the inside of it was so cute. They had a band playing before, people were dancing. The interior alone was just breathtaking, and then the show itself was crazy. The costumes were amazing. They had these people, it was almost like a show, like a musical, but then they would have little acts in between. That was kind of like the circus, and they had these people. It was a roller skating couple. They were doing stuff I didn't even know was possible. I have no idea how they did that. A lot of boobs though, a lot of boobs, which I was expecting, but I was like, whoa. Like, the men were fully covered the whole time. I saw like a sliver of a nap. They weren't even in booty shorts. I'm like, so, like, can I get a little something here? It was our last night all together, so we all went out and we went to a club, which was also really fun. Yeah, I don't know, it was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, I'm never gonna see any of you ever again. I just spent 2 weeks with you, you know? Half of the people stayed in Paris, but half of us went and took the coach back to London. It was such a weird feeling. I'm like, oh, like it's over, you know? But yeah, I was just so tired that I pretty much went straight to bed again. And then the next day I flew out, and that flight was rough because it was completely booked. I was in economy again, but I couldn't lay down on the 3 seats, and I was just so happy to be home. I'm so happy to be home. All in all, it was amazing trip. I'm so glad that I did it. Like, it's crazy that I actually went to all those countries. The culture, the food, the people, it was just so, you know, please, I just want to do it again. Now I want to travel everywhere. I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to go, like that I could go. I had the financial means to go, and all the people that I met were so amazing. They were so nice. Everyone was so friendly. I really hope you enjoyed this video, this long story time. And please look forward to more kenahspam. This is gonna be the last video for 2024. Crazy.